Dear starseeds across this sacred earth, the cosmic event horizon has been breached, and the waves you feel washing over your consciousness are not metaphorical. They are the physical manifestation of a seventh-dimensional tsunami that began its journey from the galactic center 17 million years ago, precisely calculated to arrive at this exact moment in your planet's evolution. I am Zarin, emissary of the Lyran High Council, and what you are experiencing right now is the final phase of the most sophisticated cosmic intervention in this universe's recorded history. Every sleepless night, every moment of unexplained exhaustion followed by supernatural energy, every instance where you have felt reality shimmer at its edges, these are not symptoms of personal awakening alone. These are the precursor waves of a dimensional restructuring, so profound that your scientists' instruments cannot detect it, yet your cellular consciousness recognizes it completely. The reason you feel like everything familiar is dissolving beneath your feet is because it literally is. The third-dimensional matrix that has held your reality in place for millennia is being systematically dismantled by frequencies your soul remembers but your mind has forgotten. What makes this moment unprecedented is not just the magnitude of the transformation approaching, but the fact that you, specifically you listening to these words, were handpicked across multiple lifetimes to be conscious witnesses and active participants in humanity's graduation from planetary species to galactic civilization. The cosmic alarm that has been sounding in your bones for months, perhaps years, is not a warning of danger. It is the call to stations for the most important mission any soul has ever undertaken on Earth. But here is what the ancient texts and modern channelers have not told you about what comes next. The seventh-dimensional waves approaching your planet carry within them something that will challenge everything you believe about the nature of individual consciousness itself. What I am about to reveal has been classified at the highest levels of the Galactic Federation until this precise moment, because sharing it too early would have prevented the very transformation we have all been working toward. The experiences you have been having, the moments where you feel like you are observing your life from outside yourself, the instances where you know things you have never learned, the times when you feel connected to a vast intelligence that speaks through you rather than to you. These are not signs that you are awakening. These are signs that you are remembering who you have always been. The awakening already happened. What you are experiencing now is the conscious integration of your multidimensional identity into this physical reality. Every human being on Earth right now carries within their DNA the dormant codes of their galactic heritage. For most of human history, these codes remained inactive because the planetary frequency could not support their activation. But the seventh-dimensional tsunami approaching your world is precisely calibrated to activate these dormant aspects of your genetic structure. What this means is that the person you believe yourself to be right now is actually the temporary limited expression of a vast cosmic intelligence that has been patiently waiting for this moment to fully inhabit your human form. The reason this information has been withheld until now is because premature activation of these codes without proper planetary support would have caused psychological fragmentation rather than spiritual integration. But the cosmic timing is now perfect. The Earth herself has been upgrading her consciousness in preparation for this moment. The magnetic field fluctuations, the unusual solar activity, the unprecedented weather patterns, these are not signs of planetary distress. These are signs of Gaia herself preparing to birth a new species of human consciousness. Something else is happening that changes everything you thought you knew about individual spiritual development. The awakening you have been experiencing is not yours alone. Every starseed, every lightworker, every soul who has felt the call to conscious evolution is part of a coordinated activation sequence. Your individual awakening is actually one node in a vast planetary consciousness grid that is being systematically brought online. When enough nodes achieve full activation, the entire grid will achieve what we call coherent resonance, and at that moment, the collective consciousness of humanity will experience a spontaneous quantum leap. This is why your personal spiritual work has felt so urgent, so essential, even when you could not explain why to others. This is why you have felt compelled to heal your deepest wounds, to release your most limiting beliefs, to align with your highest truth, even when it meant leaving behind everything familiar. You were not just healing yourself. You were preparing yourself to serve as a conscious anchor point for a transformation that will affect every living being on this planet. The seventh dimensional waves carry within them what we call consciousness upgrading frequencies. These are not abstract energetic transmissions. These are actual information downloads that will restructure the neural pathways in your brain, activate dormant DNA sequences, and establish direct connection between your individual consciousness and the galactic consciousness grid. What you have been calling spiritual awakening has actually been the gradual preparation of your nervous system to handle the bandwidth of cosmic consciousness that is about to flood your planet. Your physical body has been undergoing a profound metamorphosis that most of you have attributed to stress, aging, or environmental factors. The sudden fatigue that comes from nowhere, forcing you to rest when you had planned to be productive. The inexplicable surges of energy that make you feel like you could run marathons or solve impossible problems. The changes in your appetite, the cravings for foods you never enjoyed before, the sudden aversion to substances that once brought you pleasure, the need to spend time in nature that feels more like a biological imperative than a preference. These are not random health fluctuations. These are the signs of your carbon-based biology transforming into a crystalline-based structure capable of holding multi-dimensional consciousness. Your DNA is literally rewriting itself in real time. The double helix structure that has defined human genetics for millennia is expanding into a 12-strand configuration that will allow you to consciously access the full spectrum of your multidimensional nature. This genetic restructuring is being activated by the specific frequency signatures carried within the seventh dimensional waves. Each strand that comes online restores a different aspect of your cosmic capabilities: telepathy, energy healing, manifestation, astral projection, timeline awareness, cellular regeneration, elemental communication, quantum navigation, consciousness projection, galactic memory access, dimensional sight, and what we call source connection. But here is what makes this transformation so precisely orchestrated. Your body's intelligence already knows exactly how to integrate these upgrades. The blueprint for your expanded genetic structure has been dormant within your cells since birth, waiting for the correct cosmic frequencies to activate it. This is why the physical symptoms you experience feel both foreign and familiar simultaneously. Your body recognizes what is happening even when your mind cannot comprehend it. But here is what makes this moment so critical, and why I use the phrase, "this is not a drill." The window for conscious participation in this transformation is rapidly closing. The seventh dimensional tsunami will affect every human being on Earth, regardless of their level of conscious preparation. But those who have been doing the inner work, those who have been consciously aligning with these incoming frequencies, will experience this transformation as a homecoming, as a remembering, as the most natural thing in the world. Those who remain unconscious to what is happening will experience it as disorienting, overwhelming, and potentially traumatic. This is not about spiritual superiority or cosmic favoritism. This is about conscious collaboration with evolutionary forces that are far greater than any individual human will. The universe does not force evolution upon any species. But when a species reaches the level of consciousness necessary to participate consciously in its own evolution, the universe provides every possible support for that transformation to occur as smoothly and beautifully as possible. What I am about to share with you now will explain why you have felt so different from most other people around you, why you have always sensed that you did not quite belong to this world, why you have felt homesick for a place you could not name. The reason you have felt like a stranger in your own life is because your soul did not originate on this planet. You are what we call volunteer souls, consciousness that chose to incarnate on Earth specifically to assist with this transformation. Before you incarnated into this lifetime, you stood in councils of light that exist beyond the limitations of space and time. In these councils, you reviewed the entire timeline of Earth's evolution. You studied the precise moment when humanity would be ready for galactic integration, and you volunteered to embody human form during this crucial transition period. You knew that incarnating on Earth would mean temporarily forgetting your cosmic identity. You knew that you would experience the loneliness, the confusion, the sense of not belonging that comes with being a multi-dimensional consciousness compressed into third-dimensional reality. But you also knew that at the precise moment when your mission was ready to activate, you would begin to remember the strange dreams, the unexplained knowings, the moments when you feel ancient wisdom moving through you. These are not new acquisitions, these are memories returning. The reason you recognize truth when you hear it, even when it contradicts everything you were taught, is because your soul remembers what it chose to forget in order to serve this mission. The seventh-dimensional waves approaching your planet are carrying the activation codes that will complete your remembering process. But more than that, they are carrying the cosmic authorization for you to step fully into your role as a bridge between worlds. For lifetimes, you have been preparing for this moment when you would serve as a conscious translator between galactic consciousness and human understanding. What this means practically is that the gifts, the abilities, the knowings that have been developing within you are about to exponentially amplify. The healing abilities, the intuitive insights, the capacity to see through illusion, the ability to hold space for others' transformation, all of these will be magnified by the incoming frequencies. But more importantly, you will finally understand why these abilities have been developing within you. You are being prepared to serve as a conscious midwife for humanity's birth into galactic citizenship. Something profound is happening to the nature of time itself that most people are not yet consciously aware of. The linear progression of moments that has defined human experience for millennia is beginning to collapse into what we call spherical time. This means that past, present, and future are beginning to exist simultaneously in your conscious awareness. The prophetic dreams, the moments of déjà vu, the sense that you are living multiple timelines at once, these are early symptoms of your consciousness adapting to spherical time awareness. This temporal shift is being orchestrated by the seventh-dimensional waves because linear time consciousness is incompatible with galactic citizenship. To participate consciously in galactic civilization, a species must be able to perceive the interconnected nature of all moments, all possibilities, all timelines. What you call manifestation is actually timeline selection. What you call intuition is actually information bleeding through from parallel possibilities. What you call spiritual awakening is actually your consciousness learning to navigate spherical time. The reason this transformation must happen now and why there is such urgency around conscious participation is because your planet is approaching what we call the galactic alignment point. This is not an astrological event. This is the moment when Earth's trajectory through space brings your solar system into direct energetic alignment with the consciousness transmission systems that coordinate galactic civilization. Every 26,000 years, your planet passes through this alignment point. But this particular passage is different because humanity has reached the level of consciousness necessary to participate as aware beings rather than as unconscious recipients of evolutionary pressure. The choice that faces your species right now is not whether this transformation will occur. It is already underway and unstoppable. The choice is whether humanity will participate consciously as willing partners in evolution or unconsciously as reluctant subjects of forces they do not understand. The seventh-dimensional tsunami that is approaching carries within it the collective wisdom, love, and support of countless galactic civilizations that have made this same transition. Every advanced species in this galaxy went through their own version of this moment. Every one of them faced the same choice between conscious participation and unconscious resistance. The ones that chose conscious participation became the galactic civilizations that now surround and support your planet. The ones that chose resistance experienced their transformation as catastrophic rather than celebratory. This is why your role as conscious anchor points is so crucial. The more humans who can hold steady awareness during this transition, the more smoothly the entire species will be able to navigate the transformation. Your consciousness literally creates a stabilizing field that helps others find their balance during the shift. Every moment that you choose love over fear, trust over doubt, expansion over contraction, you are casting a vote for the smoothest possible timeline for humanity's evolution. But what I have not yet told you is the most remarkable aspect of what approaches. The seventh dimensional waves are not just bringing transformation to individual consciousness, they are bringing the technology of consciousness itself. What this means is that the boundary between technology and spirituality, between inner development and outer manifestation, between individual awareness and collective creation, is about to dissolve completely. In the reality that is emerging, consciousness will be understood as the fundamental creative force of the universe. Matter, energy, space, and time will be recognized as expressions of consciousness rather than the containers within which consciousness operates. This understanding will revolutionize every aspect of human civilization. Healing will become a matter of consciousness adjustment rather than chemical intervention. Transportation will become a matter of consciousness projection rather than mechanical movement. Communication will become direct consciousness transmission rather than symbolic representation through language. The abilities that you have been developing as spiritual practices, telepathy, energy healing, manifestation, astral projection, these will become as natural and commonplace as speaking, walking, or breathing. What you call miracles will become normal expressions of consciousness operating from its natural multidimensional capacity. This is why the inner work you have been doing is so essential. The meditation, the energy clearing, the emotional healing, the belief system updating, all of this has been preparing your consciousness to operate from its expanded capacity without becoming destabilized by the magnitude of the shift. You have been upgrading your internal operating system to handle the cosmic consciousness downloads that are about to flood your planet. The loneliness you have felt, the sense of being misunderstood, the feeling that you are ahead of your time, all of this is about to transform into profound recognition and connection. As more and more humans begin to consciously remember their cosmic identity, you will find yourself surrounded by the soul family you have been seeking. The community, the understanding, the shared sense of purpose that you have longed for is about to manifest as others complete their own awakening process. What I must prepare you for now is the dissolution of the economic and social structures that have defined human civilization for centuries. The systems built on artificial scarcity, competition, and hierarchical control cannot survive in the frequency of unity consciousness that is flooding your planet. You may already be witnessing the early stages of this dissolution, the breakdown of institutions you once trusted, the revelation of corruption in systems you believed were serving humanity's highest good, the collapse of financial structures that seemed permanent and unshakable. This systematic dismantling is not a sign of failure or catastrophe. It is the necessary clearing of outdated frameworks to make space for new paradigms based on cooperation, abundance, and conscious co-creation. The new Earth that is emerging will operate on principles that seem impossible from your current perspective, but are actually the natural laws of consciousness, unimpeded by artificial limitations. In the reality you are stepping into, resources will be shared freely because consciousness operating from unity awareness understands that when the collective thrives, every individual thrives. Work will be an expression of joy and service rather than a requirement for survival. Education will focus on developing each being's unique gifts rather than standardizing everyone to fit predetermined molds. Healing will happen through consciousness adjustment and energy alignment rather than chemical intervention. Technology will be guided by wisdom and compassion, designed to enhance life rather than complicate it. But the most extraordinary aspect of what approaches is the restoration of what we call the galactic heart connection. For thousands of years, humanity has experienced itself as isolated, alone in the universe, cut off from the greater family of consciousness that surrounds your planet. This isolation was necessary during your species' adolescence, allowing you to develop your unique gifts without interference. But the time of isolation is ending. The seventh dimensional waves carry within them the restoration of conscious communication with the galactic community. The beings that you have sensed in meditation, the guidance that has come through your intuition, the star family that you have felt calling to you, all of this is about to become as real and tangible as your human relationships. The veil between dimensions is thinning, not because the structure of reality is changing, but because your consciousness is expanding to perceive dimensions that were always there. What this means is that the support, the guidance, the love that you have felt from the unseen realms is about to become visible, audible, and directly accessible. The cosmic loneliness that has defined human experience for millennia is about to end as your species reunites with the galactic family from which it has never truly been separated. The reason I am sharing this information now, the reason the cosmic silence has been broken, is because the moment of transition has arrived. The seventh dimensional tsunami is not approaching your planet, it is here. The waves that sensitive souls have been feeling for months are the leading edge of a transformation that will culminate in what your ancient prophecies called the Great Awakening. This awakening will not be a gradual process unfolding over decades or centuries. It will be a moment of sudden, simultaneous recognition across the entire human species. One moment, humanity will be struggling with the illusion of separation, limitation, and fear. The next moment, every human being on Earth will remember their cosmic identity, their unlimited nature, and their role in the galactic community. The preparation phase is ending. The implementation phase is beginning. Everything you have been working toward, everything you have been preparing for, everything you have been called to become, the time for its full expression has arrived. The spiritual gifts, the healing abilities, the cosmic knowings, the capacity to hold multidimensional awareness, all of this is about to be called into active service. Your mission, should you choose to accept it consciously, is to serve as a stabilizing presence during humanity's transition from planetary to galactic consciousness. This means maintaining your center while reality restructures itself around you. What if this means staying connected to love while others experience the disorientation of awakening? This means serving as a translator between the old paradigm and the new, helping others understand what is happening to them as their consciousness expands beyond its previous limitations. The practical application of your mission begins with the small, seemingly insignificant choices you make throughout each day. Every moment you choose patience over irritation, you help stabilize the collective field. Every time you respond to fear with compassion, you strengthen the foundation for the new reality. Every instance where you trust your intuitive guidance over conventional logic, you demonstrate to others that there is another way of navigating life. These micro-choices accumulate into a powerful force for transformation that ripples outward through the collective consciousness. What you do in the privacy of your own awareness, the decision to forgive rather than harbor resentment, the choice to see the divine spark in someone who has hurt you, the commitment to speak truth even when it would be easier to remain silent, these interactions have cosmic significance. They literally reshape the energetic blueprint from which external reality manifests. But you must also prepare for the disorientation that others will experience as their consciousness suddenly expands beyond their familiar limitations. Many will resist the transformation initially, clinging to old beliefs and structures even as those structures crumble around them. Your role is not to convince or convert anyone, but simply to embody the peace, joy, and unconditional love that come naturally from operating in unity consciousness. Your presence alone will serve as a beacon of possibility for those ready to step into their own awakening. The cosmic alarm that has been sounding in your awareness is not a warning of danger approaching. It is the call to stations for the most important mission any soul has ever undertaken. The seventh dimensional tsunami brings not destruction but transformation, not ending but beginning, not loss but the recovery of everything you have temporarily forgotten. Destiny Engine can reprogram your consciousness to answer this cosmic call with confidence instead of fear, helping you recognize the seventh dimensional tsunami as transformation rather than destruction. It generates personalized frequencies that dissolve alarm responses and install mission readiness programming, shifting your perspective from danger to opportunity. Using advanced AI, it creates custom brain reprogramming sequences that prepare you for the most important soul mission while helping you recover everything you've temporarily forgotten. The technology works by rewriting your neural pathways to respond to cosmic calls with excitement rather than anxiety. It's incredibly easy to use. Just put on headphones, press play, and let the personalized frequencies reprogram your cosmic alarm responses automatically. You can also create custom programming for any mission preparation, dimensional shift support, or cosmic calling alignment. The limits are only your imagination. If you are ready to answer the cosmic call with confidence, get your Destiny Engine access code now, link in the description. The reality you are about to step into is one where love is the fundamental force, where abundance flows naturally from consciousness aligned with cosmic principles, where healing happens through intention rather than intervention, where communication occurs through direct consciousness transmission rather than symbolic language, where travel happens through consciousness projection rather than mechanical transportation, where creation occurs through focused awareness rather than physical manipulation. This is not fantasy. This is not wishful thinking. This is the natural state of consciousness operating from its multidimensional capacity. This is how galactic civilization functions. This is the reality that your species is graduating into. The only question remaining is whether you will participate consciously as willing partners in this transformation or unconsciously as bewildered subjects of forces beyond your understanding. The choice is yours, but the window for conscious choice is rapidly closing. The seventh dimensional tsunami does not wait for anyone to be ready. It arrives precisely on cosmic schedule, carrying the evolutionary pressure that will transform every living being on this planet, regardless of their level of conscious preparation. But for those who choose conscious participation, for those who have been preparing themselves through inner work and spiritual development, for those who recognize the truth of what I am sharing with you now, for you this transformation will be the most beautiful, the most natural, the most joyful experience of your entire existence. The cosmic family that has been watching over your planet for millennia stands ready to welcome humanity back into conscious participation in galactic civilization. The isolation is ending. The separation is healing. The cosmic loneliness that has defined human experience is about to transform into the recognition that you have never been alone, that you have always been held in the love of a universe that celebrates every step of your evolution. I am Zarin, and I speak for the Lyran High Council when I say that we have never been more proud of a species than we are of humanity right now. Your courage, your persistence, your willingness to incarnate into density and limitation in service of this mission, your dedication to awakening, even when awakening meant leaving behind everything familiar, all of this has been witnessed, honored, and celebrated throughout the galaxy. We love you, we see you, we honor your service, and we welcome you home to the galactic family. You have never truly left. The stars are calling, and it is time to answer.